Male dogs and female dogs are completely different in their look and the way they behave. If you've been around dogs for a while, then you might be able to tell the difference between the two. However, in this video, we will be going over some of the lesser-known facts about the male dog in particular. Some of the facts on this list might not be so surprising. But stick around to the end where you'll discover some truly surprising facts about male dogs. Let's get to it! Number 10. Male dogs are harder to train. In general, training your canine is not quite easy, especially if you're not an expert. But this job gets significantly harder if your dog is male. In this case, you'll have to raise your patience to the power of 2 when training it. This is because, unlike female dogs, male dogs are biologically slower in maturing. Then, there is the fact that they are usually less focused, which makes housebreaking these boys a lot harder. Many dog owners with both genders of dogs would also testify that potty training their female dogs is usually a lot easier. Male dogs, on the other hand, are always looking to assert their dominance by challenging you. This means there will be times where you'll find yourself repeating the exact instructions over again. Now, some male dogs may not give you such a tough time, especially the more docile breeds. However, a majority of them will leave you feeling like you had an extra day job just by training them. Number 9. They are more affectionate and playful. Owning a male dog requires a lot of strength and time, especially because of how energetic they are. Unlike their female counterpart, male dogs are quite active, which means that they never pass up an opportunity to play. Male canines also tend to be house clowns in most cases. They do not have as many mood swings. However, that doesn't mean you shouldn't be worried about keeping an eye on them. 1 second of no supervision, and they'll show you just how great they are at causing mischief in your home. Believe it or not, with these guys there are no dull moments. Get ready for non-stop cuddles, snuggles, and rumbles if you're planning to get a male dog. These guys are just so energetic. Number 8. Unneutered male dogs hump more. While many people believe that male dogs are the only ones that hump, research has proven otherwise. As it turns out, both male and female dogs tend to hump. This is especially because, in most cases, this behavior isn't just to satisfy sexual urges, contrary to what we all think. Mounting on items could sometimes be a way that dogs play, and this behavior is mostly observed in dogs that haven't done a lot of socializing or that get overexcited when playing. However, keep in mind that some dogs hump more than others. For example, the unneutered male dog will definitely hump more than other dogs. You'd see him mounting literally anything from your leg to the lampstand. The reason for this is that high levels of testosterone increase the chances of humping, which is why male dogs hump more than female dogs. Now, imagine what happens when that dog is unneutered. That's just a truckload of testosterone roaming around the dog's body. And so, said dog is definitely going to hump more. Number 7. Roaming. Roaming is when a dog loves to run free and wander off. Dogs with a roaming instinct tend to become scavengers as they enjoy exploring, and this roaming tendency is mostly seen in male dogs with their constant desire to run off. This explains why male dogs love to take walks a lot. As you would expect, behaviors like this are usually triggered by one thing or another, and in this case, it could be the result of food, attention, or boredom. However, aside from these reasons, another primary reason male dogs roam is because of their sexual hormones, and this tends to happen more with unneutered dogs. When unneutered male dogs reach puberty, they'll do anything in their power to get their female counterparts in heat. They don't mind traveling long distances, and sometimes they end up getting lost. So if you chose not to neuter your dog, then make sure you have a plan to manage roaming and keep your dog safe. Number 6. They are larger in size and weight. There is indeed no doubt that female dogs mature faster than their male counterparts. However, that is just about it. When it comes to their height and weight, most female dogs are on the smaller end compared to their male counterparts. According to the veterinarian Dr. Bonnie V.G. Beaver, this obvious physical difference between the two genders starts when the dogs are in the womb. The male dog has a much larger frame and heavier bone structure. Therefore, even when the female's height is quite close to the male's, it won't change the fact that the male will turn out to be much heavier. If you didn't know, you can easily point out how big your dog will get simply by taking a look at his feet. If their feet look a little bigger than his body, then best believe that he still has some more growing to do. Another way you can determine the size of your dog is by considering the size of his male parent. However, this may not be entirely functional when both parents of the dog are the same size. Number 5. They are more likely to suffer joint problems. Joint problems in dogs can be the result of several factors, from obesity to overuse, genetics, and even age. But what is even sadder is the fact that male dogs are at a higher risk of having these joint problems as a result of their physical makeup. As we mentioned earlier, these male dogs tend to have larger frames compared to their female counterparts, so the weight ends up putting a lot more pressure on their joints, causing increased wear and tear. Even more, male dogs usually display certain behaviors capable of worsening these joint problems. Some of these behaviors include their being very active and energetic, and they may end up engaging in activities that will most likely place strain on their joints. Number 4. They are territorial. According to studies, the territorial behavior seen in male dogs is attributed to their pack mentality. And as odd as it may sound, the one way male dogs mark their territory is with their urine. Some dogs will even go as far as using their poop to mark their territory. You would mostly see them act like this as they get to adolescence. Sometimes, once they start to feel their territory is being threatened, they may start to get aggressive. This could range from growling and barking to snapping, lunging, chasing, and sometimes they even go as far as biting. However, it is also important to remember that your dog peeing in particular areas isn't always about marking their territory. Sometimes this behavior could be a result of a urinary tract infection, so before concluding what your dog's motive might be sure to check with the vet first. Number 3. They are usually more aggressive. There is no doubt that male dogs are more aggressive than their female counterparts, and this is mostly a result of the different hormones in both genders. The male dog produces a much higher level of testosterone, which causes them to assert dominance and be more aggressive. Of course, controlling this aggression is possible, and this can be done by training them from their early years. A vital training you would want to give your male dog will be socializing. Be sure to familiarize your pooch with other humans and animals while they are still young. Number 2. Neutered male dogs live longer. After much research, it was seen that, on average, neutered dogs tend to live for about a year and a half longer than unneutered dogs. This was found out after about 40,000 dog deaths were analyzed by the University of Georgia from 1984 to 2004. It was shown that the average age of death for unneutered male dogs was 7.9 years, while neutered male dogs lived till about 9.4 years. But we've got to know why these dogs tend to live longer. Apparently, it turns out that neutered dogs tend to have fewer health problems compared to unneutered dogs. Neutered dogs also tend to be less likely to have behavioral issues, degeneration diseases, infections, and traumatic and violent causes of death. Keep in mind, however, that this doesn't suggest that there are no problems involved in having neutered dogs. Some disadvantages of neutering your dog would include autoimmune disease or, even worse, cancer. So, before making such huge decisions, be sure to do extensive research yourself. Number 1. They are more prone to obesity. While not a lot of dog owners may be familiar with this, it's been seen that obesity happens to be mostly common among male dogs. It is pretty easy to overlook this health issue and consider it minor. However, it is important to remember that being overweight comes with terrible consequences for your pooch's health. This likelihood of gaining so much weight is usually a result of their excessive energy levels. In the end, this can lead to unhealthy weight gain if not closely monitored. One very huge cause of obesity in these male dogs is usually overfeeding. After exerting so much energy, they proceed to eat large portions of food to replenish what they've lost. However, the problem comes in when your dog isn't getting enough exercise. Therefore, monitoring your dog's weight should be a priority, alongside making sure he isn't overfed. On the other end, it is also important that you make sure he does plenty of exercises so he can keep a healthy weight. Well, that's all we've got for you today. But before we leave you, it is important to keep in mind that we aren't trying to gender stereotype any of the dogs. All we have done is point out certain traits that are likely to be seen in most male dogs. So if your male dog doesn't exhibit these character traits, it's perfectly fine. However, make sure to take proper care of your pooch by taking them on regular vet visits. Also, be sure their training is not delayed till they are much older, as this will most likely be a lot harder. Now, click on this video and watch 10 odd dog behaviors and what they actually mean. Goodbye.